That's excellent, Yale. Very, very good. How long have you been working on that piece?
2 months, I think 3 months.
Good for you. Good for you. That's very well done. I want to work on two different things with you. One is that sometimes you press too hard. Yeah. And boy, isn't that just the worst thing, that when it happens when you first start playing and you feel a little nervous and you're like, what's going to happen? And then you start squeezing a little bit. So we can work on that. You want to start the opening?
The opening?
Yeah, the very beginning. Now, you don't care. I'm not going to bite you, right? And you played it once already and you play extremely well. So right now, you're going to have an experiment. You're going to try something. You're going to see how easily you can play with the least amount of weight, but still make a beautiful sound. You know, sometimes I suggest that people do this, Yale. Before you start, you could play. Just do that for me. Just play 4 real easy notes. Don't push. So that you get that sound and you get the feeling of how hard you should press with your right hand. Okay, can I ask you a question? Do you always start at the frog, like in this piece? Do you start with absolute flat hair all the time? Do you play flat on your bow all the time? Do you ever roll over a little bit onto the edge of the hair?
Like, as a mistake?
No, like, well, let's say, do this for me. Just play short notes on the G string, changing string. You keep it very flat, don't you?
Yeah.
You can sometimes try to just roll over just a little bit onto the outer edge. You know what the outer edge is, right? The edge away from you. But you use your wrist a little more and it's a little bit easier to control because you want to make sure you don't come in like bang. Okay? All right, let's start it once more. Now let's see what a beautiful sound you can make, but a relaxed sound. That was excellent. I'm going to tell you a little trick now. And that is, the key of this piece is G minor, right? So that means the B flat is very important at the very beginning, right? Because it tells us what the key is, right? If you played, it would be in G major, right? So and B flat is a beautiful note on your violin. You have a beautiful sound. So if you start just a little easier at the frog, then you can add a little weight at the tip of your bow to make that B flat sound super beautiful. That's the reason for not playing too big at the, I mean, if you give it all here, then you start pressing when you get to the B flat. So I thought the way you started was beautiful. Let's do it again. And now add a little weight when you get to the B flat. That was great. You know, I should tell you something. I was quite a long time ago, I was in New York for Josh Bell's debut with orchestra. Do you like Josh Bell?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good violinist, okay? And he was about 18 years old at that time, and he played this concerto with the orchestra for his debut. So practice, because maybe you'll play it in New York for your debut recital. But do you see how you could play with a little, you could add a little more weight and it makes a beautiful sound. Now I have a question to ask you about that. Oh, who's playing it with you? The very opening. The piano or the orchestra? Are they playing with you?
No one.
No one. So it's Yale on parade. You can kind of do what you want. You make it a little cadenza, right?
Yeah.
So do you believe that all the eighth notes in that cadenza are exactly the same length?
No.
No. You want to give it another try and be a little braver about changing. For example, as it goes up, if you put an interesting sound on the B flat, and you've gotten that far, right? And then maybe you want to go. And then you can slow down at the end. You could have a little more of a ride in your car. Accelerate. Put your foot on the accelerator once in a while. Oh, I thought that was very good. Do you also see that when you're pressing too hard, it's very hard to be free with the rhythm? Because you just go like, and all the eighth notes come out, you know, sounding kind of the same. Oh, wow, you're in trouble now, Yale, because you played that so well. Now, what are you going to do for the next one? That was a nasty laugh I had. Let's try the one that starts on E flat. Okay, I like that a lot. And you know, do you see that under the 16ths in this one, it says crescendo and stringendo?
Yes.
You know what stringendo means?
Yeah, it gets faster and like more intense.
Yeah, yeah, it goes more intense. So you have to be careful not to start it at the top tempo. The let's just do that once and see if you could make it a little more shapely. How many times have you practiced that scale?
A lot.
I know. It's a nasty scale, right? What fingering do you use?
I shift to 1 on the E flat. Yeah.
I love that fingering. I'm going to tell you where there sometimes is a little trouble. On the crossing. Would you play it slowly for me once? That's right. You know, there's a practice idea that you might find interesting. There are 3 things to think about, to pay attention to. The last note before the shift, the last note before the crossing, and the last note under a slur. It's called the last note rule. And here, you have to make sure you really play that A flat. That you give it enough time. Because I'm sorry, the B flat. F, G, A flat. It's the A flat. You have to give the A flat enough time before you play the B flat. You're always worried. Everybody is always worried about the crossing. So do it once more and say, oh, I gotta notice that note. Oh, I have to notice that one before the shift. That's right. That is exactly the way you should practice it. Paying attention to those notes. Do it once more. Okay, now play it fast. There still is a little lump in there. Once more. Your shift is too soon. Finish the note before the shift. Now go faster. I will tell you that will help. That will clean up those spots, because there are lots of passages in this piece that are really hard to fit in the beat, right? Like that. All of a sudden, you've got to kind of squash it in. It's the same thing with, well, why don't we just continue? Let's go on to the next section. I'll show you another spot where the double stops start now. Okay. Now that is full of notes before the crossing. Almost every second note is one of them. So it's this one. Oops.
What?
I said, oops. The one in the middle.
Oh.
It's because your bow is in a hurry. Your bow gets to the A string before it should. Keep it on the D string. Right. Yep. That's right. Good for you. Good for you. Is there a place you particularly want to play? Because we don't have that much time. I have some ideas, but if there's something you really want to play.
The chromatic part at the end.
Yeah, it's a deal. How about if we start, let's start at the tempo 1 in bar 73, 74. So you get to play the chords too, all right? You know that section, yum, ba bum, bim. Yeah. Okay. So now I've made you do this enough, but do you understand that in that scale, it is the note before the shift that you are cheating a little bit, and that's why it gets jumbled up.
Oh.
Yep. You don't need to, we don't need to practice that because I want to help you with the chromatics. But do you see how that idea works?
Yes.
Yep. Works all over the place in this piece. You're a good worker. You can change really fast. Okay, let's go ahead. You do it once more and just go straight through.
Should I start with chromatic?
Yeah, why don't you start on the chromatics? Okay. What don't you like about those chromatics?
Sometimes they get a little uneven. The notes get a little
Yeah, sometimes they sound a little. What fingering are you using? Yeah. What's your fingering? Go slow and show me. Oh. Well, I don't know. I don't do that fingering. And let's see. I don't know if you can see it. Woo. That's a chromatic scale. Open 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. No same fingers. Actually, there's just one shift. Open 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, open. Real slow.
Oh, I see.
Open 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, open.
Okay, yeah, that works.
And then I do one, look at on the top, I don't know if you have the same, when you cross over to the E string, then go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So there's one place where you use 2 1s in a row.
Oh, I use 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I don't have to shift on the last D, C sharp, D.
That's good.
Okay.
That's fine. But to get to the F sharp, you have to play F natural and F sharp with the same finger, right? Yeah. Okay, try the whole thing once more. I want to mention one other thing that might help you. Are you counting while you do this?
Yes, very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Eventually he puts accents, but in the beginning it's supposed to be smooth. And on top of that it says stringendo, but right now don't do the stringendo. Just keep it real even.
Okay.
Okay, on that one I go 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes you just have to use one. You could figure that out easily. You're smart. I can hear that you would be able to figure that out. Now, is the problem that it's not smooth, or is it a problem that doesn't seem smooth because the rhythm isn't smooth? Do you practice it with rhythms? Yeah.
No, not really.
Oh, I got you on that one. You know what? The very best way to get something cleaned up, the very best way. There's two things: to clean up your intonation, you stop using your vibrato. To clean up your rhythm, you try using rhythms. Like you should play. Or that's long, short, long, or the other way around. Short, long, short, long. Or even better for this is long. Ooh, should I be real mean to you right now? You could slow it down. You could slow it down a little bit. And you play the whole passage. Long, short, 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 long. Short, 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 long. That's great. You watch what will happen to it. It'll just sound clear as a bell, okay? So rhythms. Also, always pay attention to the notes at the ends of those slurs. That's the other example. How about before we go to the next person, why don't you just play the last cadenzas once more? Because that would be a nice ending. Now, remember how loose you can be, and remember how free you can be on the eighth notes.
Yes.
Well, bravo. I hope you get to play it with an orchestra, just like Josh Bell someday. How much do you practice every day, Yale?
An hour to 2 hours.
You do all that with just 2 hours?
Oh, well, I do less, pretty little. So.
Bump it up if you can. It's worth it.
Okay.
Do as much as you can. Okay, bravo. Thank you very much. Excellent.